short update on the project I've got to make a model of Brunel's magnificent Great Eastern steamship, SS Great Eastern, the biggest ship in the world for almost 50 years after its construction. And so here's one of the pictures I've found of her, just to give you an idea, to give you some guidance. And so I've noticed here, it's very odd, there's only 4 funnels. I'm not sure if one was removed. I think I've got a vague feeling one was removed during her working life. And the bit I've been concentrating on is making the paddle wheels and the paddle boxes. I'm still trying to position that in Gmax. This is a picture just prior to the attempted launch. This is one of the chains that was designed to hold her back so that she could be controlled. And you'll see that there are differences in colour. The main theme is of these lateral lines of the hull plating, which I've tried to replicate in my model, but I'm keeping it very, very simple indeed. And so this is where I am at the moment, and you'll see I'm using the bubblegum colours to distinguish the different parts of the mesh. And yes, definitely I've got 5 funnels on this particular plan here that I've been using. This is just a spare piece of a mesh ready to be used if I need to maintain that spline, that extruded spline. So this one here, what I've done, I'm not sure if it's possible to actually see the effect of the texture. If you zoom right in, you just about make out a line there. It's not very clear. It's fairly dark because I know when I put it into Trainz, that Trainz lightens everything for some inexplicable reason. So I know that will be a problem. In fact, the way I did this was I made 2 textures. So those are the planned textures. And for the hull plating, this is my hull plating texture. And so if I just look that up, you'll see here it is, hull plating. But I also made a second one, and the second one is mainly white with just a little bit of a line down the bottom there to create that horizontal visual on the texture. And if I just swap them over for a moment, you'll see the effect straight away. And that's actually where the lines of along the hull are. I was dithering about putting in some of those dark portholes, and in the end I've chickened out and just left it because it would just overcomplicate the business. What I might do is use this particular version of the texture to create the single white line along the hull. But again, I'm in 2 minds about that. I think I'm preferring to leave it as it is. As you can see, though, I've started to add the deck is separate. It's use my planking texture, which I used on the schooners. You can see there, it's just enough to create the impact of that. And I've started adding some of the deck detail. There's a lot more to come, of course, but just to get the masts into position. And of course, and the 5 funnels that are shown in the diagram. But the main thing, of course, has been getting the paddle wheels and the paddle boxes sorted out, and I'm still in the process of doing that. But the paddle boxes, as you can see, have this design punch through them, and I've made the paddle wheels, which is why I was looking at that picture. Let's just go back. I'll show you that picture again. There we are. That's what I was using to give me my design. Except now, looking at this, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 concentric rings. Mine, I think I've got 3 concentric rings. I can't remember now. It's 1, 2, yeah, 3. I think there should be maybe another one there, but I'm not going to. That's how it's going to be because they're just getting too big. The number of polys in them. They're 50. They've got 50 boards, paddle boards on them there. And as you can see, because I've got a dummy there, I have already textured and animated these. In fact, what I did is I let's just open up paddle wheels. No, I don't want to change it. That's the paddle wheel as I made it, and that already was, before I reduced it, was 1800 polys. And although I needed to reduce, I needed to change these what are basically tubes down to the ordinary polys. I converted them to these here, to the basic spit it out, what is it, yeah, editable poly, like that. But these are grouped up, so that's what I'm going to look at. So let's have a look at those anyway. The reason, before I do, actually, what I should say is the reason why I did change the hull plating. So if I just go into that again, and I'll just change it over to hull plating 2, it was because, of course, it took me a moment for it to dawn on me. There was no way with the dark texture that I could actually see where these hull plate joints came. So in the dark texture, so I had to create a light version so I could actually plot the lines along the hull. And it's to create the effect. I'm not rivet counting. It's simply to give the effect that's necessary on there. And you'll see also that I've done the propeller. That is one I just made myself. I just spoofed it up. I've no idea whether the angle was right. It just looks right, and it will eventually be animated. And I just tucked it away. I've still got the rudder to do there, but apart from that, so let's just go back and put the proper hull plating back in. And I'll leave it at the moment, just because you get a better view at the animation. You should be getting the animation. There it is. Seems to be running quite slowly. I think it's just the angle. It's very slow, isn't it? That's very odd. Huh. Yeah, it's this business you get when a cine camera is filming a moving thing on the road. The frames are skipping. If I put it into wireframe, there we are. You can see the speed they actually turn at for the 360 degrees. It's because I've set it at 100 frames a revolution for the. It actually look like they're going counterclockwise, but they are correct. Texture correction. Oh, there we go. Look. Still looks like they're running backwards, but they're not, because you can see them rotating correctly there. Okay, so that's as far as I've got so far. So let's restore the hull plating to what it should be. Hull plating 1. There we are, and you can see they're running from that distance. So it's all about the distance that they're being viewed at, which was a clever explanation. And you can see here I've got the beginnings of the paddle boxes. There is a bit of a problem with that. I've got trying to get everything to look as if it fits properly with the different plans and the photographs is proving quite a challenge, and it's the best guess it's going to be. But I think she's going to look pretty good. I'm quite pleased so far. Let's hide these. Where are we? Let's take that back to there. Let's hide those just to clear the position, just so we can see. So we get down, see her zooming along there. looks more dramatic than it will be. But what I wanted especially was to make sure that we could see the paddle wheels rotating inside, which is what we've got there. So making those paddle boxes sort of Napoleon hat shape that we've got here. I've still got a fair bit to do on all of this. I'm still blocking it in, but there we are. That's my second report on this project of making the Great Eastern. I hope you've enjoyed the video and give you an idea. There we are, that's what I've been mucking about. And give you an idea of just how complicated it is. Even what appears to be quite a straightforward, basic, low detail model, can prove to be quite complex because of the lack of accurate drawings and a variety of photographs which always seem to not show just what you need to see, and artists and engravers drawings which don't actually tie up with either the plans or the photographs. So it really does present its own challenges, but it's going to be a very nice ship and a fine example of Brunel's work. On the decks there's going to be some deck houses, but not very much. The bridge, which comes across here, I think, connecting the two, the bridge is just the bridge bridging between the two paddle boxes, and it's open to the elements. Extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. Goodness me, the middle of the Victorian period, they didn't muck about at all. You had to work away in all weathers. Imagine at night steering the Great Eastern. Absolutely incredible. Out in the open against all the elements. So there we are. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this update, and more will follow as I pursue this particular model. And so if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave any comments, queries, anything you like. I don't mind. I'll aim to answer anything that seems answerable, and please subscribe to my channel on YouTube, because it really does, it's really nice to see nice number of subscribers, and maybe in a couple of weeks or so I'll have a bit more to show you.